Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Fake Music Only podcast, the best podcast online for discussing all things EDM. I'm your host, Cole, aka the Big Finicheti, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, IMG.
Hello, everyone.
And today, we have a pretty special guest. You know him for his hits on Monster Cat like Illuminate, What Feels Right, and Keep You, and his latest track, a remix of Khalid and Normani's Love Lies, is out on SoundCloud for free download. Duumu, welcome to the cast.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah,
it's glad to have you.
Yeah, and I don't think we really went over this before, but again, thanks for actually getting back to us. It's pretty
No worries.
Yeah, I've been going for about a month now, and you're the first actual artist that's been a guest on, so congrats, I guess.
I'm glad to have that privilege.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we get massive in like 25 years, it'll be huge. But
The OG.
yeah. But anyway, besides having you on for the guest, it's been a pretty big week in EDM so far. We've had the Jaws album, which has been teased since February or something like that. I know that's gassed out
forever.
release. Yeah, it was a debate between like me and my friend whether or not this album would come out first or the Getter one, because they were just both talked about for so long. So it's cool to finally have that out.
I wasn't aware of most of these releases.
That's totally fine. Yeah, I mean, we have to go out of our way to find most of these anyway, because I keep track of like Disciple and Mousetrap and Monster Cat usually, but you know, like it in a way, this cast has just been like a way for me to get to hear more music that I otherwise just would have never even heard of. I don't think.
That's fair enough.
Yeah. So, IMG, I'm gonna let you pick. What are we gonna go with first?
Let's go with the Jaws album.
All right. So, for this thing, I've always enjoyed Jaws like a decent amount. Like he makes like his music is really fun. But when I heard that,
but have you heard his Some Chords remix?
Oh no,
his Some Chords remix.
You're right. That's a bit of an infamous one.
I like that it exists because there aren't a whole lot of remixes like out there in general. Like I've heard some VIPs of VIPs before, but like only a couple remixes. So
Fair enough.
That's something. But when I heard that he was making a 23-track album, I was a little doubtful because like not to knock Jaws, it's just I don't even know a whole lot of artists that could make a 23-track album work in general. And when I hear like an artist that mostly makes like bass house bangers, I was kind of curious to see how that would work out.
Well, I was really skeptical when I pulled up on the Spotify page and it was that long, because I was like, oh, this is going to be another one of those albums that's just like there's been a lot of like EDM or electronic music albums in general that have come out like in the last year or two that are just like they just feel like compilations of singles, which this at some points feels like, but props to him for actually like figuring out some kind of story and like arc to it and like actually have some kind of consistency in terms of like what goes into the different parts of the album. That is one thing that I can't knock him for.
Yeah, I know what you mean, because like 5 of these tracks are like, they're not interludes, but they're more like world building tracks, I guess.
Yeah.
Because he kind of sets up this sort of post-apocalyptic thing. And while like I thought it was a bit cheesy at points,
oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It's very 2012.
Yeah, very much so. Like specifically the voice that he uses to kind of represent the wise, I think, like the female one, like that kind of reminded me of like the voice from the Purge movies, if you've ever seen those. Like,
yeah, it did kind of remind me
the
of
whole
that.
narrative was kind of like Final Fantasy-ish.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, but that being said, like I was kind of expecting the chapters to sort of be like not too important, and for and for the interlude tracks like to kind of be interchangeable almost. But to be honest, like especially with chapter 2, which was like the Wicked stuff, I thought that it really fit the theming really well for the most part.
Well, yeah, I mean, in a way, he just sort of. Here's what I think. He had a bunch of these tracks, and he was able. Well, I don't know if he had them, obviously, but he was able to make a narrative where he could make like 3 tracks in a certain style, 3 tracks in another, 3 tracks in another, and then sort of glue them together in one single album by giving it that theme of like the the Ys, where it's like, more cinematic melodic stuff. The Wicked, where it's nice and heavy, gritty shit. And then you get the Ys again with more of that cinematic stuff. The United, where you get a bit of both. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
he was able to fit a lot of styles into the album thanks to that. Now, I can't say I was a fan of the album in general. I didn't. Most of the tracks I found fairly, forgettable. None of them were bad, but only a few of them really caught my attention. The one with Example was quite good in my opinion.
yeah. In the Zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, overall, it's an interesting concept for an album, especially in 2018.
Yeah, for me, for me, as far as like the raw track quality goes, like you said, there wasn't really anything bad on here. I will say I didn't like Superfly, which is the closing track. Like, I really wasn't a fan of that one. But like besides that, I was a big fan of Acid or Techno. Keep the Rave Alive was fun, kind of gave me like Knife Party vibes, and also Frequency with Adventure Club. I thought that was really good. But you're right when you say a lot of these do kind of blend together.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot stands out, but at the same time, like I think there was enough here to hold my attention throughout the whole listen, which was
also
surprising.
like another yeah another sort of like that I have on this album is like to sort of this album in general like a callback to the earlier days of EDM, because even just in the style that like the tracks are in, it's all very old school, like not super old obviously, but like pre 2010 electronic music is what it sounds like. Like a lot of the tracks have that sort of stylistic pre 2010 EDM and dubstep sound. And I'm assuming the whole narrative thing is sort of, well, it fits into that as well, because back then, people were doing that kind of stuff a lot more regularly. So, props to him for being consistent, at least in the just the album in general.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
One thing that I just want to bring up is I kind of liked how, I don't know if this was on purpose or not, but there was sort of like I don't want to say a rave theme, because like obviously it's like the whole album could be used in a rave setting, but like a lot of tracks were kind of meta with it, like Acid Techno, Rave With Me, and also Keep the Rave Alive. So I'm kind of wondering if that was intentional or not, because like they're spread out throughout the album enough. And it also kind of makes me wonder like if Draws was kind of used to that setting like when he was younger or anything, and he's trying to kind of bring that back, like you said, like with the more like 2010-esque electronic music stuff. So in a way, like a lot of this, I'm not sure if it's intentional or not, because it is Jaws, and it could just be like you said, just a bunch of tracks that he had that he kind of threw together in this format. But at the same time, like if a lot of it was intentional, I feel like that would kind of raise the quality a lot more.
For sure.
Yeah. Leaf, what do you think?
Well, honestly, I pretty much enjoyed most of this album, except like everything after the DJ Snake track. Like, it just kind of blended together after that point because I was just listening for so long. Yeah.
That's the issue with having an album that long as well.
Yeah.
It's kind of like listening to, if you listen to like a long like radio mix, or like just any mix in general, you have like sort of a middle section where you're not really paying attention anymore. Like at the beginning you're paying attention to the tracks, at the end you're like, oh, this is the end of the mix. But in the like you get to a certain point after a while where like all the tracks sort of blend together in your head, and you're like, oh wait, when did we transition?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, but I mean, there are the few albums that do accomplish this well. I mean, the only one I can really think of is The Wall from like way back in the 70s, late 70s, early 80s, but like still.
In terms of like keeping your attention the entire time?
Yeah, because that's one of those albums that's like, it's like 80 minutes, but it does do a pretty good job at keeping your attention throughout it. But then again, it's a concept album, so I guess that makes a little bit of sense.
I mean, I know I can name a few like just from recent years that have done that. Han, for instance, they just dropped an album called Love Me / Love Me Not, and it's sort of, I was captivated throughout the entire track. And the other one that always comes to mind for me is 22 A Million by Bon Iver, because that one is just, it's a story. Like you can't, aside from a few tracks that work as singles, you can't listen to that album like track by track at different points. It's a full arc, and that's like to me what an album should be.
Yeah.
That totally makes sense to me, but like for me, like I've kind of grown up on electronic music, and there aren't really that many concept albums, if any.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
like in
this
the
is one
scene.
of the first I've heard.
Yeah,
I
to
mean,
be
it
honest.
can be somewhat generalized into that.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I do think it is kind of funny that one of the first concept albums out of like more modern EDM comes from Draws, and I think that's kind
Yeah.
of funny. But yeah, like there are I tend to not listen to like super long albums like all the way through in one setting. In like one sitting, I'll maybe listen to like 10 tracks at once and then like shuffle the album and stuff just because it's hard to keep my attention for that
yeah.
long. Um, like examples are like The Alchemist by Savant, which is like 100 minutes or something like that. But maybe it's because maybe it was because I was studying while listening to this album, so I was doing something else too. But
Fair
you know,
enough.
yeah, it kept my attention. I can't say I was bored during any parts of it, and
Hmm.
it also wasn't just a full bass house album, which is
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of
It
half what
was
I was
definitely
expecting.
I praise the diversity on it. That's
yeah.
And this is also Jaws' first, like, unless we're counting remix packages, which I really don't. This is his first like multi-track project.
Oh yeah.
It's
He's
all
never
those
done an
singles.
EP.
No, I checked that yesterday because I was curious.
Huh.
And besides, like he did the whole Bite This Volume 1, which had like those 4 tracks that were released as singles prior in it.
Right.
But again, I don't really count that because they were all singles before. So
Yeah.
yeah, like especially considering that this is like his first multi-track thing, um, I can't say I'm really disappointed with it.
yeah, I'm not
Fair enough.
disappointed either. Like it's really good in my opinion.
Yeah. And also like I think it's interesting. I think it's he put the perfect amount of bass house in this because like there's a lot towards the back and there's a couple tracks spread out in the middle. So like there's enough classic Draws material to keep his diehard fans happy, but there's also enough new stuff to kind of I think attract everyone. So
Yeah.
I think there should be like I think if you're a fan of electronic music, you should be able to find like at least one track in here
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
like. I
Yeah.
think
For sure.
not that you'd want to sort through all that if you typically don't like it, but still, there's a lot of diversity on this thing. It's his first multi-track project. Kept my attention. I'm gonna give it like an 8, I think.
Yeah, I think I'll give it around there.
Oh, I didn't know we were giving ratings.
Don't worry. It's I look back on like the ratings I gave like episode 1. I'm like, oh yeah, that changes. Like
I mean,
no
ratings
worries anymore.
change, opinions change.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd give it like maybe a 5 because I wasn't particularly, you know, swooned by it.
yeah, I totally
Um,
get that.
Yeah.
but a 5 for the concept.
One thing that I am curious before we move on to the next album is because I'm always curious because like producers in the scene all make like electronic music, but I like
Hmm.
from what I've heard from multiple people is that it's pretty common that like you guys don't even listen to all that much electronic music in your spare time. So I'm curious what you listen to.
Yeah, I mean, I listen to a bit of electronic music, especially when I'm like at the gym, for instance. I have a playlist called Vibes that's just got a bunch of like, well, it's electronic music, but it's very like pop influence electronic music, like Sun Holo and Gray and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but in my free time, I listen to quite a bit of just like, I don't know what I would call this stuff, but like indie pop or whatever,
Huh.
like
So like
Wait.
Eden style
like
stuff
beachy
or
music, like
I
yeah. Well, I do listen to a bit of Eden. I actually knew Eden before he was like big, which
yo,
is
that's awesome.
weird. I
like
was
knew
supposed
of
to
him
work
or
on a
knew.
track with him back when he had like, no, I was supposed to work on a track with him back when he had like 1,200 followers on SoundCloud.
Oh damn.
Wow.
But yeah, no, like I don't know if any of these artists are gonna speak to you guys, but people like Two Door Cinema Club, Hippocampus, Han, the 1975, those kinds of artists are the artists that I listen to a lot in my free time.
I had a coworker this summer who was a massive fan of the 1975, so I heard a little bit of
Yeah,
their stuff.
yeah. I mean, a lot of us I mean, I don't speak for anybody else but myself, but
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of musicians don't necessarily sort of limit what they listen to because the more you have inspirations from everywhere, the more unique your music's gonna be, really.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's sort of the gist of it.
Yeah.
I get so is it kind of the I guess to coin your phrase indie pop stuff that sort of like influences your sound, or does that kind of come
Yeah,
from
in a
elsewhere?
way. I'm not entirely sure where my sound comes from, and to be perfectly honest, I don't hear that I have a sound. Like, I honestly do not hear any similarities between most of my tracks, aside from maybe like the way I voice my chords, so, which is pretty
Yeah.
abstract. Um, but I feel like that's the case for most artists because like an artist's sound is just a byproduct of the way they produce and like the habits they've developed over the years of producing. Um, and since to me they're just things that I do while I'm making music, they don't, in my eyes, constitute a specific sound, but they do to other people because they're habits that I have that nobody else has, and that's sort of how that works, I suppose.
So it's sort of just your methods while while
Yeah,
producing
I
and the
have
habits that you get in.
influences. Actually, a lot of my tracks I start out by either trying to remix a track or by like trying to rip off a track, and then it evolves into going into its own direction. And but yeah, there's a lot of inspirations from kind of everywhere, but none of them are really like pronounced in the way that I consciously go through and like, hey, I should do something like this song that I like. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. And going back to how you said that you don't think that you have a sound, I'm gonna have to agree with you on that because when I was trying to like write out how to introduce you and everything, I was you know him for his chill trap future bass heavy. I don't
Well, in
know.
terms of genre, I'm pretty like versatile. That's sort of always been a thing. Although I'm narrowing down the type of music that I'm making now to fit a brand. Um,
Yeah.
but a lot of people have told me like despite like regardless of genre, you can usually tell when it's a track of mine, and that's something that I can't really hear myself.
I mean, like if I sort of have a range of artists and one of your tracks were to come on, I'd probably be able to pick it out for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, like
Yeah.
you do cover like a broad range of sort of styles,
for sure.
like
And I
like
do pride myself on that.
yeah, like when I was sort of like digging through your discography to get ready for this, I heard your Fault CP, which I didn't even know existed
Oh
before
yeah, that one's a
today.
bit underground.
Yeah, and that was very different to like all your other
Well,
stuff.
I
Like
had a
the
phase where I made a lot of ambient music. Most of that's gone off of Spotify and stuff like that now, but the False EP remains, as does the Associated EP and Pandora's Cluster. They're sort of like the remnants of that period.
Yo, Pandora's Cluster is a good song.
Thank you.
I'm gonna say that. I like that a lot. So
I very much appreciate your kind words.
thank you.
and one other thing that I have to ask, what was it like seeing your track get on Rocket League?
That was pretty wild, honestly. But even wilder than the track, because I'd known that I was going to be on Rocket League for a little while. Because, fun fact, I finished Keep You back in, what, like December last year? I finished Keep You in December 2017. And it had been, like, I'd been talking to Monster Cat about getting in on a Rocket League album for basically that amount of time. So I knew it was going to be on Rocket League for a while, so I had some time to like, register that. But I didn't find out I was going to get a flag until like a week earlier, like a week before the release. And that was like the
Wow.
crazy thing to me. I was like, man, my logo is going to be in the game.
That's
Yeah.
that's awesome. Cause yeah, I do have friends that play Rocket League, but like they don't really listen to Monster Channel, so they don't know like they don't
it's
really
it's
know the
just
artist. But
crazy to be able to like pull up this game and be like, hey, I have a song in this, and also I'm literally in the game, like this popular game with a user base of over 40 million like people. It's wild. It's pretty crazy.
yeah, it's got to be pretty surreal, I imagine.
Yeah, it's wild, honestly. You never sort of get used to it.
Yeah.
Can we remember that tweet where Monster Cat like did the black bar over the car? With yeah, that was
They
funny.
really did me like that.
Yeah.
That screenshot's not even my car because the day that update went live, they had an issue with like Rocket League on Mac not launching. So because I have a Mac, I couldn't launch the game to take a screenshot and post
Oh
it.
no.
So I literally went into the Monster Cat Discord and asked somebody to take a screenshot for me.
Oh, okay.
So that's just somebody's car off the Monster Cat Discord.
Wow.
That was
My
nice.
car's a
Well-
lot nicer than that.
All right.
Well, today we learned.
Yeah, exactly. All right. All right. Let's move on to something else on the list. Let's keep this
Yeah.
flowing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say the thing that I want to talk about next is the Blanco album.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's
yeah,
Savant, isn't it?
Yeah, it is Savant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been releasing a lot, but not under the Savant like alias at all. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if you know about like his like more hip hop based alias, Data Crash.
Nope.
But yeah, but he has like so he has that, and then he has like a 10-hour like hip hop mixtape coming out at some point, and then he had like an orchestral album earlier this year. So
he's crazy, that guy.
yeah, he puts out a lot of stuff, but at the same time he puts out so much, it kind of varies in quality for me.
Right.
Like usually it's pretty good, but at the same time I never really know what to expect. But with Blanco, I knew that was kind of more his like more in the same vein as Savant, but just a bit more experimental and weird, I guess.
Yeah.
And like I hadn't heard from that since the Bajo EP, which came out in like 2015 or anything. So I was pretty excited to see a new release kind of in the works for him. And
Yeah.
and I'm really pleasantly surprised with this because because I like the Bajo EP a fair amount. I didn't think it was anything like too special. I don't think I have it downloaded anymore. But this, on the other hand, I'm really impressed with.
Yeah.
First,
I found it quite interesting, just in general. It's very like psychedelic. It's got a very psychedelic sort of theme to it.
yeah. I like it feels kind of tribal at points almost, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
like there's definitely a theme here, but it's kind of hard for me to pinpoint what exactly it is. One thing that I liked is that it's not all the way through, but a lot of this album is set up in like a continuous mix format by default.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which I do like that a lot.
Yeah, like that's always a nice surprise. When I see
Yeah.
that. And also I Leaf, you probably know this better than I do, but this album does kind of take one specific genre and then kind of expands on that, but I forget exactly what it's called.
Jungle Terror, maybe? Tribal House? I don't know. It's one of the...
Jungle Terror, that's it.
I want to say it's Jungle Terror, yeah.
Yeah. And I like that because aside from like who was it, Weewek, you don't really hear a
Yeah,
lot of that.
Lilac, Weewek, I don't know.
One of those. I've still never heard anyone actually like pronounce it. So your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought this album was really interesting, and a lot of fun at the same time, which a lot of
for sure. Yeah. I think a lot of again with most albums, I feel like some of the tracks just sort of blend together in a sort of mush of sound at some point if you're not paying attention to them. But there were a few of them that popped out to me, like Conga and Triad really popped out to me, for instance.
Yeah, Kong is definitely one of the standouts for me as well.
Yeah,
yeah,
that one's really good.
Yeah. And I think that's for a couple of reasons. The first one being that this album is only 45 minutes long, about I think, with which is like a decent length, but it's pretty like short for Savant and kind of short in comparison to, like the Jaws album and everything. And also because this track doesn't take like pauses in between tracks for the most part, you notice it when like the beat changes up, and when everything switches up, just because it's all kind of being done right in front of you. And I think that grabs your attention and lets you know that you're going to like a different song better than other albums would.
Yeah.
Which I thought was nice.
For sure.
Yeah. So Conga was a standout for me. I liked Drama a lot just because I tend to like longer songs.
Yeah.
More, and
that one was very. Yeah, like sort of mousy, wasn't it?
Yeah, sort of.
Um,
Like
Yeah,
like
it.
more experimental than Dead Mouse, but yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It went down
In
a
terms
ton
of
of different
structure, it
avenues.
was very Dead Mousey.
Yeah. Like the fact that it was like over 7 minutes long.
Yeah.
Um, kind of kind of more minimal at parts. Like one thing I'll say is the outro was probably too long. It was like 2 minutes, but
Yeah.
yeah. But like besides that, I enjoyed the first five like way more than that. Triad was interesting. But I forget what it was about it, but Raver was also a track that I wound up liking a lot. I think it's because it had the Raver was the one that had vocals, and it had like the person talking to you.
Yeah.
That one stood out. So like I'm happy this album exists because it came right out of the blue, and it shows me that Savant is still kind of working with electronic music.
Yeah.
yeah,
Because like recently he's just been doing like hip hop and orchestral stuff, um, and and I'm not really sure if I hope he continues with Blanco or goes back to Savant, but either way, I'm happy he has a project like this out.
yeah,
For sure.
In 2018. Leaf. What
yeah.
about you?
Well, I mean, I guess it's pretty diverse. I don't know. I think like every track I really did enjoy, even though the last half seemed to blend together a little bit. There wasn't like a track I hated on this. It was
Yeah.
yeah, it was really smooth. I mean, I don't listen to a lot of Savant or anything, so like, I'm not too tuned into his style, but I did listen to the Blanco EP when that came out. Well, not when it came out, but a little bit after it came out, and I like that a lot. So it was nice to see him come back to it, I guess, to this alias.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. What was I gonna say about this? Oh yeah, like the first time I actually listened to this was the first time I was able to drive my car in like a couple weeks because I've been at college and I'm home for the weekend, so I got my car back.
yeah.
So when Bongo came on, no, not Bongo, Conga.
Bongo.
I look away from the track list for like 2 seconds and I go straight to Bongo. But yeah. So Conga was just like the most hype thing in my entire life at that moment because like I was on the
Oh,
highway. Like,
yeah. This track would go off live.
yeah, I'm I'm kind of curious to see where this like if any of this stuff will actually be used live a lot because like for the most part Savant's music isn't really played out at like festivals or anything, but a few tracks
Yeah.
here I think would fit in at some
Yeah.
For
places.
sure.
Yeah. Fun fact, I'm actually going to the first festival I'll ever be able to go to tomorrow. I'm finally going.
Nice.
Yeah, finally going to Electric Zoo.
Ooh,
Have fun.
fun.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Isn't
Thank you.
Manila Killa playing that? I might be completely wrong.
I don't think maybe there's only a few people I really recognize on the lineup for Sunday, but it was the one with like without tickets sold out. But like Medicine's gonna be there, Cray,
Oh, nice.
Ikali. I'm super excited for Ikali.
Is that how you pronounce his name? I've always just
I
pronounced
think
it Akali.
Yeah, same here.
Damn it! I think I'm really bad at this.
Oh, my buddy Denmo's playing as well.
Wait, who?
Denmo, DNMO. He's a friend of mine. He's playing as well.
I have to say he was one of the people on the roster I didn't recognize, but I'll definitely look out for him now.
Yeah, he's slightly smaller in terms of like size as the other ones, but he's a. Oh wait, he was playing today. Never mind.
Oh,
Oops.
well, never mind though. I guess I'm not seeing Denmo.
No, kids coming though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm. See, I said KD.
It's a KD.
I think it's because I saw the Dylan Tall Chief video how to
How to kid.
and I think he said KD at some point and that just stuck. I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe I'm just I think I'm just bad at pronouncing artist names. I should really like start DMing people and asking.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. Some
Forever.
names are just stupid, like Duumu.
Ouch.
Not your name, but I used to say sorry, Drulu instead of Drolo.
Yeah, I
It
was
is
the one who
Drulu. It
corrected
is
you.
Drulu.
It is.
It's
Wait, it
pronounced
is?
Drulu. Yeah,
Yes.
it's on their SoundCloud.
Oh, wow. I
It
always
says
pronounce it
pronounced
Drolo.
Drulu. I used to pronounce it
Wow.
Drolo, but then I saw that and it's pronounced Drulu.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry for correcting you,
Oh
Cole.
man, that's a big win. That is a
Oh,
big win.
man.
Oh, they took it off, but it was in their bio for a while. It was, yeah, it said it's pronounced Drulu.
That that feels good.
Okay.
All right, nice. That's a nice little confidence boost.
Yeah. Wait, okay, alright. Before we move on, since we're talking about Jungle Terror and since it's kind of related to Trap, Duumu, you said that you are working on a Trap track,
Yes,
correct?
indeed.
Can I guess who it's with?
I mean, you can give it a go, but I can't really tell you.
Is it Reach?
No, it's not Reach. I'll tell you it's
Damn
not Reach.
All right,
But
it.
that's good enough.
that's the only guess you get. But it's not
Dang it.
Reach, no.
So I feel like a fair amount of your tracks could be classified as trap. So is this more of like a heavier style or something?
Oh yeah, this is actual trap. Like most of my tracks fall under trap, but like under some kind of future bass variant of trap. Although future bass is a very like umbrella term.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this track is trap. It's just straight up trap.
Oh man, I can't wait, honestly. It's gonna be
Me
good.
too. I've got a lot of tracks on the way, but most of them aren't finished.
Huh.
Please, we need an Illuminate remixes or something like that.
Oh, I don't think that's gonna happen. But I have a track
Ooh.
coming out at the end of the month,
Oh, ooh, oh, okay.
There we go.
Well,
I
so you
mean,
can post that on the Monster Cat Reddit.
Oh, okay.
yes.
do.
Front page. All right, there we go.
Front page.
Some karma. Yeah.
Perfect. All right.
Useless internet points.
Yeah, I know you probably can't like talk about it too much, so we won't bug you too much on it, but
It's
Yeah.
it's better to be it's better to leave it as a surprise. It's more fun for everybody.
yeah.
Yeah.
Even though right now, like I would die to just be able to tell you guys, but I'd rather keep it a surprise. Honestly, this is something that I always think about. Is like no matter how excited you are for your favorite artist to release something, they are at least a billion times more excited than you are to release it as you are to hear it because they've been holding on to it for like months, if not years. The track that I have coming out at the end of the month here, it'll be coming out around the end of September, beginning of October. I started it a year ago.
Dang.
That track.
Jesus.
Like that's how things in the music industry are slow.
So, yeah, sometimes I wonder how certain artists can like hold on to an ID for so long because like
Honestly, it's something that you sort of like learn to do as like it's a process where you learn to do. Like I used to like when I was first starting out, I used to make a track a week and put it out just immediately after I finished it. And then eventually I started releasing with labels a little more, so I was waiting like a couple of weeks before putting a track out. Now it's gotten to the point where this track that I finished in also December 2017 or maybe a bit later than that is coming out now. Almost a year later. But
Yeah.
like it's fine. Like I don't feel like I've been holding on to it all that much. It's wild. There's some tracks on my SoundCloud that are private that have been like just in the works since like 7 months ago.
Ooh.
I the first time I realized how kind of slow it was from like finishing a track to release was the Boss Fight and Falcon Funk collaboration because I had been
Yeah.
hearing about that for months and months. So like I'm curious if you have like any more info on this, but like what's the approximate time between like submitting like a finished track to Monster Cat and having it released?
Honestly, it really depends because first of all, they need to like it, right? They don't like it. I've sent a bunch of my tracks to them, and some of them just haven't made the cut, just because either they don't like it or just because they feel like it wouldn't fit on the label. Like I don't know if you know this, but I entered the Nervo remix competition 2 years
Yeah.
ago. John, Going Quantum, told me that he really liked my remix, but they couldn't give it a win because it was too weird, and the Monster Cat fan base wouldn't like be
Oh
behind
my
it.
god. See,
um,
that's like the thing is.
But
it's
that's the
like,
thing is the you gotta curate for the fan base as much as you gotta work with the artists, and so I have a bunch like the track that's coming out at the end of the month didn't make it onto Monster Cat, not because I didn't like it, but just because it was a little too weird to fit onto the roster or onto the discography. So I'm releasing it with another label, which I also don't want to talk about. I'm keeping that as a surprise for the announcement. But
Alright, no worries.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
The process sort of varies. Like for instance, my Illuminate EP, we planned it in March, and by April 14th, it was released.
Yeah.
For What Feels Right, my track with Mindsight, that was like we got the green light saying we want to sign this in August of 2016, and it didn't come out until July of 2017.
Dang.
So sometimes things are really slow, other times things are relatively quick. It depends on like availability and the schedule, and stuff like that.
Yeah, and now I would think it would be super bad because the Uncaged and Instinct split. So if you make an Instinct track, you're going to be waiting most likely like twice as long. You know.
Forward was, I don't remember when that one was scheduled, but sometime around April, I think, and it came out in July, so it wasn't too bad.
Huh.
Um,
what do you think of the split?
Yeah.
I think it was a good idea. I'm not one to like shy away from criticizing when I see something that I don't think was well done. I think the idea of the split was was like a good idea. In terms of how they executed it, I think they should have put more emphasis on getting more people to the Instinct channel because they did the best they could. It was the first time they were doing something like that, and I think it was a really great idea to do that because then you were able to, you have fans who like both and they listen to both. You have fans who like just heavy music, and so they can just listen to heavy music and not have to deal with all the melodic stuff. And there are people who cannot stand heavy music and they don't have to listen to that. So I think in terms of like an idea, it was a good idea. I think in terms of the execution, they could have done some things better. But overall, I do support this split.
Yeah, I kind of see. I get what you're saying there. Like, because I remember when it like the first couple weeks when the Instinct channel was the thing, they were pretty heavily advertising it, but then they sort of
they haven't done that. I mean, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I had to like not fight, but you know what I mean by like fight for. I had to like argue. I had to negotiate. Thank you. I had to negotiate for Take Me Away to be previewed on the podcast because up until that point they hadn't been previewing Instinct tracks on the podcast, and I thought that was ridiculous.
Yeah, it does sound ridiculous.
And so I had to like be like, well, that's not I'm not gonna let that happen. I want the track to be previewed. Eventually, they agreed to preview it, and since then they have been doing spotlights or exclusive previews on the podcast that are Instinct tracks, and actually they've previewed every single one of my tracks.
So they don't want you getting angry at them, I guess.
You paved the way.
But yeah, like originally they weren't doing that, and I thought that was not smart. So I told them, not in a necessarily confrontational way, and I still don't think that it was I think overall it was beneficial for everybody because now they're promoting more Instinct releases, which means that those releases do well as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, knowing that's great that you did that. Considering that
I don't know if I was the sole reason that they now preview Instinct tracks, but
I mean, you're probably one of them.
Did play a part. Yeah, I played a part in it.
Yeah.
So good job on that. Nice work.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. We've got two EPs left to cover, and then a good amount of singles. I'm gonna say because we were just talking about Monster Cat Instinct, we just kind of go through the Monster Cat Instinct single that we have.
You want to know what I just realized actually, real quick?
What?
I never listened to the Isolation remix. So well, I'm sorry, I can't talk about that.
No worries. It's fine.
Okay.
I listened to it like twice, so
Okay.
I listened through it. Let's just say that.
All right. Yeah. Let's just talk about that then. Get it out of the way then.
Yeah.
The Panda Eyes remix.
Yeah. One thing I'll say to start this off is I'm not the biggest Panda Eyes fan. Not that I don't respect what he does, and he has like a few tracks that I like, but something about like most of them doesn't really like resonate with me for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
I do have the Isolation EP like downloaded just because I just like kind of downloading the Disciple releases. Kind of have the full catalog there, but with the remixes EP, I didn't expect to be excited, but then I saw the lineup was Dodge and Fusky, Boss Fight, Eliminate, and then someone I hadn't heard of.
I liked two of them. honestly. I liked Dodge and Fuski and I liked Eliminate. I then the other two I thought were just kind of pretty vanilla dubstep for like 2018, if you know what I mean.
That's interesting because I kind of have like the opposite opinion. I'm
Really?
like, yeah, I'm a fan of the Boss Fight remix and hold on, what is it?
Nazca.
That's it. That's good. But yeah, like, all right. To start off, Dodge and Fusky are like they're kind of personal favorites of mine because I like how they don't really like take themselves too seriously. I
Yeah.
don't think
And then
which is very,
they've been like in the scene for ages. Like they're actual legends.
yeah. Um, yeah, like way back to like when they did like Granny Step and Porn Step and stuff like that. Back in like 2010, I think. And especially since Fusky came back in like 2016, I think the quality's kind of skyrocketed there. But this one sort of like, I don't know. I feel like the remix kind of messed with the drop a bit. But not in a way that was really exciting or alluded to
Oh, I
their
hadn't heard the
style.
original, so it doesn't help.
Oh yeah, I that's understandable. But yeah, I can't really describe the original, but like, it seemed a lot more like an edit. Um,
Right.
and like it was a fine edit, but it was just an edit, and it wasn't really what I listened to Dodger and Fusky for. So it didn't really catch my eye too much.
Yeah.
And like the Eliminate remix, like I did like, but I think after listening to like other Eliminate songs, like I think it was Walls and his
Oh, Illuminate does have a very repetitive style, but I think it's like if you listen to like a few, like you drop a couple of his tracks and like at events and stuff like that, it'll go off, right? That's sort of what his alias is for, and like what I sort of see it as, because like a lot of his songs are very similar, but they slap basically.
yeah, I get that. Like and like another thing is like I'm also just kind of a fan of that sort of like I guess it's hybrid trap.
Yeah,
Yeah, because like another one of my personal favorites is Ricky San. And like Eliminate is sort of sort of doing the same thing, and I just like what Ricky San does a
yeah.
bit more. Um, but yeah, like with the boss fight remix, I didn't like the first drop all too much, but the second one where he kind of has those like more chaotic fills, I guess.
Yeah.
That that really caught my attention and was able to hold it until the end of the track. And I like
Yeah.
how the I need to pull the track list up for this fucking remix.
Nasco remix?
Nazca, yeah, I liked how it was more. I like how it was more melodic, and kind of broke up like the other three heavy tracks. So
It was
yeah,
kind of old school, but I just, especially the Nasco remix, I found kind of vanilla.
you know, this kind of leads into something I was wanting to ask you, because
Mhm.
like as a producer, you have like a bit of a different
Yeah.
outlook, like on these tracks. So like what's some stuff that you hear in tracks that either like impress or annoy you that like casual listeners like wouldn't really pick up?
Well, a lot of dubstep, like a lot of dubstep nowadays sounds so like similar. Everything sounds the same, and it's like pseudo rhythm. Like people call it rhythm, but it's actually just pseudo rhythm because rhythm is
It's
known for being
brittle.
wonky and minimal. Um, it's just dubstep, really. It's just bro step with repetitive rhythms.
Yeah,
But
that's
like
why it's called Britum.
Oh yeah,
no, rhythm historically is a really minimal and wonky genre, and I would know this because my best friend Corey, who now makes chill out music, used to make rhythm for like the longest time. He used to make wild and wonky rhythm under the name Siege Dubs or Siege. You can actually look him up on SoundCloud. He still exists.
Yo,
I
I'm
might I
gonna.
might I might
Um,
find that.
but like a lot of dubstep nowadays I find pretty uninspired, but I mean I understand the appeal of it. I That's the thing, like when you become sort of a producer you understand how difficult it is to make music, and you can appreciate songs without necessarily liking them. So I appreciate a lot of dubstep, but I don't like that much. Even though I do like a couple of tracks, most of it I just find, impressive in some aspects, and then in other aspects just sort of boring.
So
Stuff that really gets me going is like stuff that's kind of experimental and new, but like keeps sort of a poppy sort of popular element. Like actually, Ioban's music I find really good because he's got a style that he has, and and it's it's similar to stuff that we've heard before, but he puts his own spin on it so that like in a way that nobody else has done before, and that's like sort
Yeah.
of gives him his flavor.
Yeah.
Trying to think of other tracks.
Like I agree with you on that because like In Your Arms was one of my like favorite tracks of
Yeah.
like that month that it came out in. Like massive fan.
Gray are another great example. They make stuff that like has been heard before, but they've got such like a a unique spin on the stuff that they are making. It's just good to listen to that kind of stuff because you get some of the familiar and then you get some stuff that you've never heard before. That's what I find impressive in music, I suppose.
Yeah. So
I'm very open though in terms of the stuff that I listen to. I listen to literally everything.
so you're more like impressed by music that like pushes the boundaries or like is more more unique just in style rather than like cool sound design or anything like that. Is kind of what I'm picking
Well,
up
see,
on.
some of that can actually work. Like some of my favorite artists are like Koan Sound, for instance, because their sound design is just crazy good. But because it's not just cool sound design, it's like they're pushing the boundaries of sound design and making stuff that nobody's ever made before. Um, and then I wouldn't necessarily say that the stuff that I like is groundbreaking because a lot of the stuff that I like is very like I wouldn't say generic, but very popular, I guess.
Samey, I guess. Like
Not samey, just like stuff like Sun Holo's music. I love that stuff, and like not to say that his music isn't unique because it definitely has again his own unique spin on it, but it's very like widely accepted as being popular music, if you know what I mean.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel
Just
like
sort of like
there's a
pleasant.
sort of like yeah, and I feel like this sort of like thing in the music industry, especially coming from the fans, because the artists themselves don't really feel this way, but like there's a sort of urge to dislike what's popular, which I find ridiculous because things that are popular for a reason, and that reason is that they are good. Like if you dislike a popular song because you dislike it, that's fine. But if you dislike a popular song because it's popular, that I don't understand that mindset of like trying to stand out by dissing popular tracks, if you get what I mean. Like, is that something that you guys have seen as well, or is that just me?
I yeah, I totally see where you're coming from that. But Leaf, you go first.
I diss pop music all the time. I despise it. I think it's stupid,
Like
even
all
though
of it.
it's like
Well, if you don't
yeah,
like it,
like
that's
all pretty
fine.
much all of it. Like
Well,
I despise pop.
I
So
If you don't like it for like the music, the way it sounds, and like for whatever reason, but like that isn't just that it's pop music, then that's fine. But like there's
no, but it's
people out there
like
who
I
like
can like I can listen to like some synth pop and stuff, and it's like really catchy. But it's like just the mainstream crap, the mainstream garbage that I hear on the radio. It's just
okay.
ugh.
So the mainstream stuff is the stuff that you dislike because there's a lot of
Yeah,
pop music out there that's really really good,
yeah,
but isn't necessarily super mainstream.
yeah.
for me like I don't really agree with you that all pop on the radio is like garbage or anything.
No, especially nowadays,
Yeah,
Like
they're
there's only
playing more and more good
like
music.
one or two songs
yeah,
usually that I like.
yeah. I mean like I think using popularity to dictate like what you like and dislike isn't really a good way of going about it because
No,
because otherwise it'd be kind of like impossible to like random access memories because that was like ridiculously popular album but it's also ridiculously good.
yeah,
And while I will say like with a lot of pop music I feel like this is gonna sound really corny but like sort of the soul is taken out of it because it's made by like 15 different people as opposed to one or two or
well,
at least
that's
like a band.
for like that's less the case nowadays. Like a pop album that I absolutely love and I've been like bumping for the past like month is just Dua Lipa by Dua Lipa. And you look at like the writers and the because you can see like the credits on Spotify now. You look at the writers and producers on some of the most popular tracks, and there's really not that many. Um, so for instance, you know the song "New Rules," right, by Dua Lipa?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean
Yeah,
I've
it's
probably
really
heard it.
it's you've heard it. You've probably heard it. Yeah, it was written by three people, and one of the people who wrote on it was also the guy who produced the backing track. but it's a super popular track. But like it was basically worked on by 4 people in total. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
So
mean,
having a gigantic team of people work on pop music is becoming less and less of like an actual factor because now pop stars are actually, good at music. They're not just industry plants. There's a few of them. There's like a bunch of actually still a lot of industry plants out there. People like, for instance, Troye Sivan is another guy who like most of his music is written by him and maybe 3 to 5 other people at most. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean by
It's
that.
an evolution. It's an evolution.
I mean, if pop can kind of like get away from the whole like ghost written, ghost produced, and like
Well,
all that's
everything,
left is the
yeah,
voice.
well, ghost producing and ghost writing is shady, but everything has producers and writers. Like, the recent RL Grime album that came out.
Yeah,
Yeah, we talked about
What
that.
track is it? I Want to Know. That track, Mern worked on that, and he's in the credits on Spotify, but he produced on that track.
yeah. I mean, like that's fine. Like having other producers and everything as long as
Yeah,
they're credited. Like it's
of
more
course.
just when like when I stop really knowing like what the artist is even doing. Like with
Yeah, yeah, of course.
like a lot with David Guetta's music. Like
Oh
there's
yeah,
so many credits. Like I don't even know what he makes anymore.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm totally fine with some producer credits like here and there and everything. But yeah,
Yeah,
I don't hate pop music by default. I do find that it's generally less of what I'm into, but
yeah. Obviously, you got your own taste and stuff like that, and IMG, if you don't like pop just because it doesn't fit your taste, that's completely fine as well.
Yeah.
But yeah.
yeah,
And then, again, like I said before, you can easily appreciate a song without necessarily liking it. Like you can appreciate the artwork, like the art form and the art that went into making that song without necessarily finding that song particularly exciting for you, if you know what I
Yeah.
mean.
um, yeah, and like in yeah, like quick thing going back to like people just hating music because it's popular. I think the best example of this, like more in the electronic scene is Rez right now, because
Yeah.
back when she put out songs like Edge and stuff, like people that only listen to underground music like just totally stand her and like she's the
Yeah.
next big thing and everything. Now that she's like headlining festivals and everything like that, I see a lot of people just disliking her style, even though it really like although it has evolved, it's like more or less like the same stuff. So
Yeah,
I
for sure.
yeah, so I think that sort of attitude exists everywhere.
Definitely.
Yeah, and while I don't agree with it or anything, I yeah, I don't really agree with it, and I kind of hope that people realize that it's the
Yeah,
same stuff. Just like the view count doesn't dictate enjoyment, or it shouldn't anyway.
for sure.
All right. Anyway,
We should probably
Anyway.
that was
speed this up a little bit.
yeah. All right.
Alright.
Okay. Yeah. So all we have left are the singles, which we can get through pretty quickly, and then but before we get to those, I just want to talk about
The
the IA.
IOEP.
Yeah, the IOEP. Going off of pop music, this is probably just about as far as you can get, because
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. I'm not super into like techno or whatever tech house. I think that this falls under.
yeah.
Big room
Um,
techno.
yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not
that
super
actually
into
does
that.
exist. That's what it is. So,
Big room techno. I didn't know that was a
big
thing.
room techno, it does exist.
All right.
I'm not super into that stuff, but I like my way into electronic music was Dead Mouse. So a part of me always has like a soft spot for it. Um, but this is like this entire EP is like the most mousetrap thing you could ever listen to.
Yeah.
I mean,
But it's really good.
I think that this would be great like in a club scene. I think in terms of stuff that you can be rinsing, like this is top of the line. I think it'll do really well on Beatport. In terms of just raw listening to it,
Yeah.
I didn't really get as much out of it because I was just listening this as I was like walking to class. It's not like I could jump up and down to it or anything like that.
Yeah.
But like the quality is definitely there. Like it sounds really clean. Like the mix on all of these.
My
But
soft spot like these kinds of albums is always the chord progressions that come in the middle of like all this like big fucking boom boom type stuff. Then you
Yeah,
get the really beautiful chord progressions that come in, and that's sort of yeah. I'm really into that stuff.
yeah,
Like same here. That's sort of where like it shines. Like there was a Dead Mouse and Atlas collaboration a while back.
Yeah,
Like that's sort of exactly what you were talking about. But like then I kind of realized that I would rather just listen to like more progressive house, which is just kind of all that.
yeah,
But yeah, I see what you mean. I think that there was a little less of that with this EP. And it was mostly just the boom boom sound.
yeah.
But yeah, like I said, it is good. I think, like very clean mixes and everything like that. Would love to hear it live someday, or like just hear it in a club at some point.
For sure.
yeah,
But yeah, like for listening, like just for straight listening, I'm like it's like a 5.5 for me, just like a little above average. But in a club, it's
I
like
see.
probably like 8 or like
yeah,
9.
I enjoyed it a fair amount. I enjoyed it more than the other EPs and LPs on the list.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's totally understand considering like that was what like the Panda Eisendraws were like heavy stuff and
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah.
yeah,
So yeah, IO classic Mousetrap. Not my favorite, but I totally respect it.
yeah.
For sure.
I agree.
All right, let's run through some singles.
Yeah.
Let's jump on into some singles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's just jump into it. Um First thing, because you were talking about them earlier, let's talk about Brighter Days because you said that you heard that one.
Oh yeah, love that one.
Yeah.
Just I love that track. It's the entire album by Sun Holo is shaping up to be really good. Honestly, was and I still am a little bit iffy on Worthy, but I really love Lift Me from the Ground, and Brighter Days is also really good. Even though it's like, and San Holo is like a perfect representation of the type of music that I listen to outside of electronic music. It's very like poppy and emotional, and stuff like that. So I just love that track. Honestly, 9 out of 9, yeah, 9 out of 10, because it could be a bit more engaging and like original, but for everything else, I'd give it a 9 out of 10 easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the vocals. It was really smooth. Yeah. That's pretty much all I gotta say. I enjoyed it, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, like we talked about Lift Me from the Ground, and I think Worthy was the other
Yeah.
song
Yep.
in that one before. Like yeah, we talked about that in a different episode. And yeah, like I agree. The album's definitely shaping up to be pretty nice. It's
Yeah.
it's not the type of thing that I listen to like all the time, but
Of course.
yeah, I would definitely I would struggle to call this anywhere near bad. It,
Oh,
like,
yeah,
it,
absolutely.
like this is what I would call like a nice album, like from what it's looking like so far, and
Yeah.
And this fits like pretty perfectly on it.
Yeah.
So I'm not
For
really
sure.
yeah, so I'm not really surprised by this song or anything like that, but it's
No.
yeah, like it's definitely staying on my phone.
Yeah,
Very
for
nice to
sure.
listen to. So yeah, like you said it was like a 9. It's probably like a 7 for me.
Fair enough.
So yeah, enjoyed it a bit.
Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of tempted to go to like the polar opposite of this track. We should probably transition a little more smoothly. So let's talk about the Laszlo track
Yeah,
real quick.
man. The return
Yeah,
of Laszlo.
the comeback of the boy.
Yes.
I always get super excited when I hear about an artist making a track after a long time. Like,
Yeah,
And-
Laszlo. Yeah, I'm glad he's back.
Wait, didn't
He's a-
he get
he's
his
a
computer
fantastic person.
stolen, or am I thinking of someone else?
his computer stolen?
I don't remember that, but
Yeah, it was him or someone else. I want to.
Ricky San had his hard drive stolen, I think.
No, I know it wasn't him. I know it was like a Future House person or someone.
I don't
Maybe
know.
I'm thinking of, like,
I don't know.
I don't know. I remember seeing it on the subreddit like a year ago or so.
I don't think it
So.
was Laszlo, but yeah, no, I really like the track as well. I was like, I was really surprised by how well he sung on it.
Yeah.
Wait, that was
it,
him?
It prompted.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was him singing.
Oh, I didn't
It prompt-
realize that.
It prompted a tweet that I said, where I posted. I just said, "This isn't fair. All my friends' singing voices are so good, and I sound like I figured out how to use my vocal cords last week."
Oh, no.
Like I've sang on a lot of music that I've put out, mostly under my site alias Charlie, but yeah, I
Little
was
plug.
super like pleasantly surprised by how well he sung on that, and I was like, damn, he did it.
Yeah, like with this thing, like he hasn't made a track in 2 years, but like you could put this in. And it's like he basically never left.
Yeah, for sure.
Like he's kind of picking up where he
Yeah.
left off. I respected the track a whole lot more now that I know that he's singing. Like that's a whole different level
Yeah,
now. Like
it's
wow.
always a thing for like producers to start singing, but it's the thing that people have been doing more and more lately. I know Mern's been singing on some tracks off of his upcoming EP.
Ooh, I didn't even know he had an upcoming EP.
Yeah, he posted about it on his Instagram,
Oh,
which is why I'm talking about it.
oh,
Otherwise, I wouldn't
okay.
be saying anything. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's great. It's something that a lot of us have been doing more often. So I'm excited to see more producers start singing on their own tracks.
yeah,
Yeah, because like you said, a lot of people haven't been doing that. Like the only real examples I can think of, I didn't Skrillex sing on his "Show Me Love" remix.
I have no idea.
I
I know like some artists who've been singing on their music forever, like Fox Stevenson, obviously, just
yeah,
forever. He's been singing on his stuff. Sun Holo, as of fairly recently, he's been singing on his stuff as well. But it's great to see more and more people do it.
yeah.
yeah.
Hopefully we get more from Laszlo now, and his voice becomes more of a staple because it definitely has that
Hopefully.
potential.
Oh yeah, it's super nice. Actually, Bad Computers has sung on a few of his tracks as well.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
What was it?
I
On
think the bridge
Silhouette.
and yeah, the
In
bridge and
Silhouette
silhouette or something.
was him. Yeah, he has
Yeah,
an amazing singing voice. I don't know why he's not singing more.
yeah.
that computer's just crazy talented. Yeah.
Paradigm would be interesting with just Bad Computers vocals.
I
That
really did like what Kara did on that track, though. She has a really,
Yeah,
really good voice for this type of music.
yeah. I don't know. I didn't really like Paradigm all that much, but it's okay, I guess. Now, when it came out, I didn't really like it all that much.
That's fair enough.
Yeah,
I like all his tracks, honestly, and he's like the funniest dude. But that's just because he's fucking Australian and half like everybody in Australia is dumb as hell.
Australian
No
people are
offense to
just more
Australia.
interesting.
Australian
they're
people are
upside
often
down.
very strange characters. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, he's a great guy as well. So, and so is Laszlo. Laszlo's a fantastic person.
All right, transitioning with vocals that are definitely going to prompt discussion. Let's talk about the Infected Mushroom track.
Yes. Oh man.
All right.
Because okay, first thing I want to say, Spitfire was like one of the best
God.
tracks of 2017.
Yes.
Like none of my friends listen to electronic music, like excepting like two of them. Um, so usually like whenever we're all in the car together, like we're playing like hip hop or something. Um, but the Spitfire broke the boundaries, and like that was like constantly on in the car just because it was so damn good.
I respect Infected Mushroom a lot for what they've done in general, like for the music scene and stuff like that. But I honestly can't say that I'm a huge fan of the stuff that they make because it's just not the type of stuff that I listen to,
Yeah.
including this track. I'm not super huge on like psytrance influenced music in general.
Yeah, I get that. I'm a bit more, um, I'm a bit more open to it, I guess. I always get excited when like Seven Lions starts producing psytrance, like just because like it's very, like it has a very distinct sound.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but producers kind of find a way to make it their own, which and with a sound that sounds so similar, I think that's kind of interesting. But
For sure.
yeah, but with this one, I don't like it as much as Spitfire. I have a feeling it's gonna grow on me a lot.
Yeah.
I
Especially when you hear it in that pseudo LP that's coming out.
the excuse me, what? A pseudo?
Okay, so they confirmed that there is going to be an LP on Monster Cat with this track on it, and it's a pseudo LP because according to Darlington, it has the amount of tracks as an EP, but it has the length of an LP.
Oh Jesus
So
Christ.
so like 5 tracks, but like
No,
10
probably like
minutes
six.
each.
It'll probably be like 6 tracks with like 7-minute long things.
but this song isn't that long. Walking on the Moon.
Well, yeah, but I mean
So how long are
the
the
other
other
songs
ones?
would balance it.
14 minutes.
I
A
mean, like,
whole hour of just on loop for an hour.
exper- experimental to its core.
Yes.
Oh man. I'm definitely curious. I don't know if I'm looking forward to it, but I'm
I
definitely
honestly
curious.
am
Fair enough.
because it's like it's probably going to be one of the most hyped releases of 2018 on Monster Cat. I'm not even gonna lie.
I know you're a massive Infected Mushroom fan.
Massive.
Yeah. But you know, I will be mentally prepping to listen through that now.
Yeah,
That's gonna be
we are
really good.
definitely listening through that on this show.
Okay, fine. Anyway, so those are all like the quote unquote lighter tracks. We've
Lighter. What are you talking about?
well, I mean in comparison, because now we've got
Okay,
Discord,
that's
Topi, and Tynan and Company. So
okay. That's true.
all
All
right,
right.
I'm all right. Let's start with Discord just to do it. I'm super happy that we're finally talking about a Circus Records track, because like we haven't done that yet, and
Yeah.
I'm a pretty big fan.
I
That
thought that track was litty, to say the least.
it was.
Yeah.
Like there aren't many tracks like for the most part I listen to all these pretty passively. And for the most part like they won't get a reaction out of me or anything. Like but when the second drop happened, it just shocked me so much because I just didn't expect it. I had my headphones up pretty high.
Oh.
So hopefully they're not broken.
Yeah.
But yeah, that like I didn't really expect that to come out of like a Varian track.
Yeah.
I'm definitely happy that it did because
I mean, Varian's been doing some cool stuff for a while now. Like Blood Hunter was super cool when it came
Yeah.
out.
I
A
like
while
his
back.
industrial stuff a lot.
Yeah.
I don't have too much experience with Varian, but I will say he's like every time I hear him, he's always like trying to do something a bit more ambitious, like whether it's like a really cool theme or you know something like this that just you know peaks and breaks all the headphones in the world.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Puts DC offset in his act. That's something that nobody is going to understand except for producers and tech nerds, like
Yeah.
audio nerds.
well I'll continue to laugh and pretend to get it to keep it going. But anyway, besides that, there's not too much I have to say about this. It's a very good trap release.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hope Varian and Discord team up again at some point because that was
I thoroughly enjoyed that
yeah.
Yeah.
track.
All right. The next one. All right. Just because it's next, like in the list chronologically. Topi. I like Topi a lot. I don't want to say like a guilty favorite or anything, but like I think I like his music like way more than most other people do, just because it's so
No,
weird.
I love Topi, honestly.
Yeah.
But
like
this track didn't do it so much for me, honestly.
yeah, I kind of agree with you.
Yeah, it felt like a rip-off swapping things, in my opinion.
I think it's closer to Danger Time, which was released off Monster Cat, so you might not have heard it. But
Yeah.
but like usually like his house music is what I like look forward to the most, just because it's like very loud and chaotic. And this one I listened to it a second time before like we even started recording this. And I liked it more than I did the first time, so maybe it's a grower. But yeah, it's definitely not the best thing he's ever made.
No. I really enjoyed Backup. That was probably one of my favorite Topi tracks. The first one that he did on Monster Cat.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting because that's probably one of my like that's probably towards the back of the list for me.
I just find that bass line so satisfying.
Okay, yeah, I get where you're coming from with that. Yeah,
the movement in it is just like, oh, my boy.
Yeah.
For me, Bad Language and I guess it's a tie between swapping things and Gotta Be. But but bad language just like flows so well. Like for me, like
For sure.
it's just easy to like
And that
move
track
to.
is just super good to drop live as well. I've been practicing DJing recently, and that track transitions super well into a bunch of other tracks. So
Really.
Yeah.
Well,
big
huh.
ups.
I've been doing like bedroom DJ stuff for a few months now, so I'll get the wave for that one now. I'll start using it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want a good track to you play Jug by Josh Pan and Baby No Money, and then transition that into Bad Language. It's just the most smooth transition you could ever do. It's so good.
Huh.
Huh.
I'll think about
I'll
that
put
actually.
I'll put that in the chat.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll definitely remember that. So far
Yeah.
this so
Also,
far the
wait.
smoothest.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. You go.
While we were talking about swapping things, I have a mashup from like last year. It was a mashup with the We Shop channel theme. Yeah. I'll send that later, but it's pretty funny.
Link in the description, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's yeah, like this the smoothest transition I've been able to get, and I guess that's because it was made by the same people. Was Rumble to Throwing Elbows.
Ah,
Oh.
Is really smooth. But besides that, I'm kind of struggling, but we'll see. I'll get
oh
there.
yeah, I make the teeth out emoji face a lot. You know what I mean? The grinning emoji
Yeah.
face. I
Yeah.
make that face a lot while I'm practicing DJing.
Yeah.
Oof, that was just absolutely terrible.
Well, like
Yeah.
one of the things I have to get better at is correcting my mistakes instead of just stopping and then just like kind of starting over.
Oh, I usually don't stop. I usually just fully go through with them. If I hear that I'm really going to mess something up, this is sort of like a fail safe, is I just reverb everything out and then stop the track and play the next one and then slowly bring the reverb back down. That's like my fail safe. Like if something's gonna mess up and I can feel it, like I can hear it start to mess up, I immediately go to reverb. Because then it just makes sort of a big blur of sound, and then you can slowly bring the other track back in by turning the reverb slowly down. So it's a fail safe, but yeah, I try not to use it too much.
That
Just add some reverb.
just add some reverb. See, I just do like I just use the filter knob a little bit until like it sounds the way I want it to sound, which obviously wouldn't work, in a live setting. But
It could.
my goal is to make money with the turntable thing at least once by the time I'm out of college. So I got 4 years to get better. That's the goal.
That's
Yeah.
fair enough.
Yeah.
Get good.
Yeah.
I'm trying to start doing shows in 2019.
Yeah, come
Going
to
for Ultra.
Minneapolis, please, and make
I
sure it's
doubt
not
that's
18
gonna
plus.
happen anytime soon. my
Come on,
guy.
man.
I live
Dude.
in England,
Dude,
brother.
just do it, please.
Most of my audience is either in Asia or in LA.
No, please. If you come here, I will buy all the tickets. As long as it is not 18 plus, please. I know that's hard and it's not up to the artist, but still try.
Man, I'm so happy now that I can actually go to shows now that I'm 18. That was like,
Yeah,
Yeah, there's still shows in the U.S. that are 21 plus.
Yeah.
most of them are 21. Like I live close to New York, and I don't know why, but all the shows there are 21 plus.
I wanted to get Myrna was playing a show while I was in LA, and so he was like, "Hey," I was like, "Hey, can I come to your show?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure, we'll put you on the guest list." And then he was like, "Oh wait, you're 18, right? Or 19?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Ah, it's 21 plus." And I was like, "What? Even for the guest list?" Like
Jeez. That sucks.
specific venue, it's called Exchange. They've had artists that aren't 21, like Ramzoid, for instance, played there. They as soon as his set finishes, they basically kick him out of the venue. Like he gets his stuff and he has to leave because he's not 21. He can't stay for the rest of the show,
That sucks.
even though he's playing.
I imagine that's what like Eptic had to do, because like what he was 17 in 2012, because I know, because like an interview that he did, so that must have been rough for a while.
Yeah, some venues literally don't even let their artists, the artists who are playing, stay after their set because
yeah,
they're
that's
not
stupid.
21. It's fair enough. It's an age restriction. It applies to everybody. Just because you're playing there doesn't mean you're immune to it. But
That's true.
And it's fair, but it also sucks, because
yeah,
Yeah.
it's uncool, but it's fair enough.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway, last track on here.
Last track, Extraterrestrial.
Yeah.
Highly wonky one.
Very.
Yeah.
I'm typically like not. I typically don't look forward to Never Say Die releases too much, but when I heard that it was Company in Tainan, like I figured at the very least this would be like crazy interesting sound design.
Yeah.
And this is it was like this is one of like the like cooler deep dubstep releases I guess I've heard semi recently.
Yeah, it's. I mean, again, this is not stuff that I listen to like on my own time at all, like ever.
Yeah.
Aside from when I'm practicing DJing, I do not listen to stuff that heavy on my own time. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was quite interesting.
Yeah, I would love to hear this like at some like club because the bass would probably just break all the windows or something. But yeah. Yeah, so I thought this one was interesting. Definitely fun to listen to, which is weird because it's like deep dubstep, but I had a lot of fun listening to this and like like my good headphones because usually I'm just listening on like earbuds with like only one side working, but I was able to listen like on actual headphones and that was really nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can't wait to see this at like Lost Lands played 20 times over. But yeah, so that actually wraps up the entire list. We did it. We got through it.
Yay!
We did it.
Congratulations.
We did it.
I didn't know you could do it. That's excellent.
Yeah, I've been routing my voice through Logic Pro the entire time.
Yes.
I'm kind of tempted to not do an outro and then just do an abrupt cut right after that.
You did it.
No, we can't do that. But oh my god, that's perfect. But anyways, I think that's gonna wrap it up. So if you're still listening, thank you so much for watching.
If you're still listening, what the hell are you doing?
You could be being productive.
Yeah.
Come on, man. But anyway,
You better be in the car stuck in traffic or something.
Yeah.
worst traffic jam in LA of all time. But anyway, links to everything that we talked about, like the Spotify links, that's all going to be in the description. Links to all of our social medias as well. Duumu, you're going to be at the top. Your SoundCloud, Spotify, all of that.
Amazing.
So, wow.
Thank you so much.
What an honor.
Yeah.
Thanks again for agreeing to be on.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's
No problem.
pretty huge.
Always down to help out, smaller creators.
Yeah,
We're all in this together.
Our little 3 sub channel.
Yeah.
Hey, we're all in this together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you so much for watching. We missed an episode last week, but we'll be back weekly from this point forward. Most likely. Almost definitely. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Catch you next week.
All right. See you.
Yeet.